What's going on, everybody? It's GameUnboxingReviews here, and welcome to the very first episode of Community Characters, a show in which we count down the top 10 custom characters this month based on a specific set theme. And in honor of Thor Ragnarok, November's theme was Asgardians. So you could either create a new and original Asgardian themed character, or an Asgardian version of a pre-existing character. Now, before we get started, I just have to say a huge thank you to my good friend Francesco, as he is the one that actually took time out of his day to create this amazing new logo for me to use during the show. So thank you very much, Francesco. I really do appreciate it. Anyway, guys, without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, so at number 10 in our lineup we have Thrall, created by Simity on Twitter. Now, in terms of powers and abilities, this character has super strength, double jumps, hyper jumps, and the ability to climb walls. Now, in combat he can attack with his trusty long swords, but he can also charge towards his enemies with the use of the targeted lunge ability. Overall, I really like the design of this character because he definitely looks like the type of warrior that you would see in Asgard, but he would also fit in very nicely within medieval England. Really great work here by Simity. Great job, man. Next up at number 9 we have the Green Guardian, created by Commander Mike on Twitter. Now, Commander Mike hasn't wrote a backstory for this character, but he has said that the Green Guardian was in fact the Bifrost Protector before Heimdall. Now, in terms of powers and abilities, this character is super strong, but also very knowledgeable about magic, thus allowing him to be able to create portals. He can also teleport, deflect attacks, cut vines, double jump, and hyper jump. And in combat, he can both attack with and throw his javelin, which can also shoot white ice bolts and beams. So he is a very powerful character. Overall, I love the bright and colourful comic book-like colours on Green Guardian's armour, and personally, I think the backstory goes really well with this character because the overall design definitely reminds me of someone that would be in charge of protecting the Bifrost. Very nice work here by Commander Mike. Up next at number 8 we have the Knight of the Moon, created by Broferes on Twitter. This character definitely looks to be an Asgardian themed version of Moon Knight. Now, in terms of powers and abilities, Knight of the Moon only has one superpower, that of course being super strength. However, he can also grapple and cut vines, and in combat he can charge towards his enemies with the use of the targeted lunge ability, and can both attack with and throw his elemental staff. And overall, I think the design of this character is extremely cool and could honestly be mistaken for an official alternative Moon Knight costume. The use of the character's iconic colours on the body armour makes for a fantastic combination. Really well done work here by Broferes. At number 7 we have Araktor, created by Sicarius Scrolls on Twitter, and as you can see from the design of this character, he very much looks to be an Asgardian version of Spider-Man, and Sicarius Scrolls has confirmed that is indeed the case. Now, in terms of powers and abilities, Araktor is a very useful character. He has a grapple, can cut vines, deflect attacks, teleport to different locations, create portals, and crack Lego walls with the use of his super strength. And in terms of traversal, he can climb almost any surface, hyper jump into the air, and swing at fast speeds with the use of his golden chain. And in combat, Araktor can unleash a yellow explosive attack which causes anyone close to him to instantly be frozen in a block of ice. And he is also armed with his battle staff, which he can attack with, throw, and also use to unleash a yellow flaming beam which causes heat damage to anyone it hits. Now, when I announced community characters back in November, I did give a suggestion as to what people could try to make, and that was an Asgardian version of Spider-Man. So I find it extremely cool to see someone actually try to create Spider-Man in this style, and I'm sure you can all agree that Sicarius Scrolls definitely succeeded with this one. Awesome work, man. With number 6 we have Son of Kol, created by Nolan EC11 on Twitter. This is very clearly an Asgardian version of Agent Phil Coulson from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now, in terms of powers and abilities, this version of Phil has a grapple, can deflect attacks, cut vines, has techno access, and he can also get around by double jumping and hyper jumping. Now, in combat, he can shoot an orange beam from his hand, which deals out heat damage, but he can also attack enemies with his proton blaster, either by simply hitting them with the weapon or shooting orange bolts and beams with heat damage. Overall, I absolutely love the creativity that went into making this character, taking a small reference from the first MCU Thor movie, that of course being the time that Thor addressed Coulson as the son of Cole, and using that as inspiration for your character is very cool. Really impressive work, Nolan. Great job, man. With number 5, we have Ula, the Dark God of the Hunt, created by the Donut Devil. Now this character has a grapple, can cut vines, fix broken Lego objects, use magic, crack Lego walls with his super strength, and gets around by double jumping and hyper jumping. Now in combat, he relies on his short bow. He can attack enemies with the bow, but also shoot red bolts and beams that cause heat damage. Now, I'm not sure whether this character is good or bad, but given his name and appearance, I'm going to assume that he's not a very nice guy. So overall, I love how evil this character looks, and his weapon of choice is extremely cool and unique. I can honestly definitely see Ula being one of many enemies that the Asgardians have had to deal with over the years. Seriously awesome work by the Donut Devil here. Great job, man. At number 4, we have Red Bolt, created by Exister XLP on Twitter. Now, this character has super strength, which allows him to crack Lego walls, but he can also mind control people, trace runes, create portals, and fly at fast speeds. Now, in combat, he can teleport to avoid enemy attacks, create a red explosion which deals out heat damage, and with the use of Mjolnir, can attack and strike a red lightning blast which deals out electricity damage. Overall, the design of this character is extremely cool. With the addition of Mjolnir and the red electricity abilities, he could definitely be seen as a version of Thor from an alternate reality where the God of Thunder drifted off into a darker path. Fantastic work here by Exister XLP. Great job, man. With number 3, we have Geron, created by Castle Plays on YouTube. Now, Castle has also given a backstory to this character, which I will now explain. So, Geron was once a great warrior in Asgard's army, but during a battle with the Dark Elves, his family was tragically killed. This, of course, left Geron completely distraught, so he decided to go into hiding. However, despite now living as a hermit, he promised that he would always be loyal to Odin, Thor, and Asgard itself. Now, in terms of powers and abilities, this character can charge towards enemies with the use of the targeted lunge ability and attack with his dual gladius swords. Now, I really like the simplicity behind this character because while he doesn't have any superpowers, his appearance tells a story, and coupled with the backstory that Castle Plays came up with, it fits very well with the overall design. I also really like the use of the bright yellow colored swords and cape because they seem very appropriate, especially with this theme being inspired by the bright and colorful movie Thor Ragnarok. So overall, this is brilliant work. Great job, man. At number 2, we have The Rift, created by Always Dreagle on Twitter. Now, Dreagle has also given his character a backstory, which I will now explain. So, when the evil Kang brought Asgard into Chronopolis, there was one warrior that was determined to put an end to the Conqueror's schemes and save Asgard and the 9 realms. This warrior was simply known as The Rift. With his past experience in leading Asgardian armies into battle, incredible physical strength, brutality in combat, and power over his warhammer, the Rift was once one of the most feared and respected warriors in all the 9 realms. His warhammer was so powerful that if slammed onto the ground, it was more than capable of causing very destructive earthquakes. Now, in-game, the Rift can dig for items underground, use his super strength to crack Lego walls, and he can also get around by climbing walls and hyper jumping. In combat, he can unleash an orange explosion which deals out heat damage, but also, with the use of his warhammer, attack enemies by simply hitting them with the weapon, or even spinning and then throwing the hammer until it eventually returns to the Rift's hand. Overall, I absolutely love the design of this character. In terms of his appearance, the face is definitely my favourite feature, as it reminds me of Day of the Dead style face paint, and the backstory behind this character is extremely cool. I particularly love how Dreagle tried to make this character part of the LEGO Marvel Superheroes 2 official storyline. Very cool. Major props should go to Dreagle for this incredible character design. Great work, man. And last but most certainly not least, at number 1 we have Mjolnir, created by Marvel Unifan on Twitter. Now, Unifan has also given his character a backstory, which I will now explain. So, Mjolnir wasn't always a hammer. Long ago, before Odin was king, there was an elite and loyal fighter for Thor, the king of Asgard. With his powers and abilities and his trusty golden sword, Mjolnir was both feared and loved by many. During a battle on Asgard, led by Dormammu, Mjolnir believed that he was powerful enough to defeat the Cosmic Conqueror. However, while he did put up a good fight, Dormammu succeeded and cast a curse on the brave fighter, transforming him into a hammer. Now, while in this form, Mjolnir was still more powerful than any Asgardian, which is why the king of Asgard decided that whosoever held this hammer, if they be worthy, shall possess the power of Mjolnir. Thor lied about the idea of Mjolnir being created from a dying star, as the true origin of this hammer is hidden in Asgard's sacred library. Many have tried and failed to release Mjolnir from this curse, including the likes of Doctor Strange and the Ancient One. But for now, with his sword hidden in the Asgardian treasury, Mjolnir must continue to fight alongside Thor, the god of thunder, until he can find a way to lift his dreaded curse. Now, in terms of powers and abilities, this character can cut vines, crack Lego walls thanks to his super strength, and also get around by hyper jumping and flying. In combat, he attacks with his golden longsword. However, he can also unleash blue lightning from his hands, which deal out electricity damage to anyone that is unfortunate enough to be hit by it. Overall, I think the design of this character is perfect. He definitely looks like an Asgardian warrior, and his backstory is absolutely fascinating. It's honestly disappointing that it's not official, because if this was true and it was released as an official Marvel comic book, then I would definitely head to the nearest store and pick up the first issue I saw of Mjolnir. Massive congratulations are in order to Marvel Unifan for being November 2017's Community Character of the Month. Well done, man. Very well deserved. So that was episode 1 of Community Characters, but you're probably wondering what's next. Well, at the end of the last video, which was of course the announcement video for Community Characters, I asked you guys which theme you would rather see as the set theme for December, and those choices were between Medieval Marvel, Marvel Noir, Marvel 2099, and Masters of the Mystic Arts. Well, I'm very proud to finally be able to announce that the theme with the most votes was in fact Marvel 2099. So yes, you will get to create your own custom 2099 themed character for the month of December. So basically, you can either create an original 2099 themed character, or a 2099 version of a pre-existing character. However, it doesn't count if that character already exists within the 2099 universe. So you couldn't, for example, make another version of Spider-Man in the 2099 universe because there is already one, Miguel O'Hara, of course. Now, as always, these votes need to be in before the end of the month, because on the 1st of January, that is when we're going to reveal the top 10 Marvel 2099 custom characters of the month. Alright guys, that's pretty much it for this video. Now before I go, I'd just like to say a massive thank you to every single one of you that participated in the very first Community Characters Challenge. This is an idea that I've kept in secret for a long time, and one that I've been very passionate about. So it means the world to me to see so many people interested in the show, and especially those who actually want to participate. So thank you very much, and of course I want to wish you all the very best of luck with December's Marvel 2099 challenge. Anyway guys, as always, I want to thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for lots more videos real soon, and as always, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe.